create a simple text file just containing a letter A, just as we did with Windows from the command line. And then I'm also going to show you sort of how Mac users tend to prefer to write their files, which is a bit weird. So if I've created a folder called example. If I double click on it, there is nothing in it. It looks a little bit different to Windows, nothing to concern yourself with. So we need the command line as we did with Windows, and on Linux and Macs it's called a terminal. So if I pull up the terminal, come on, there we go. And this tells me that I am currently in my own drive, and that's my computer's name, and I'm sort of in the root folder, this C drive if you were on Windows. So I need to go to this example folder, and it's on the desktop. So if I type cd desktop, that's the Windows command, and it works exactly the same on the Mac and Linux. But I'm only on the desktop now. I need to go into the example folder. I could just type cd example. Now the difference between this and Windows, I'm just going to go back to the root. Whoops. There we go. So I'm back where I began. Windows use a backslash, and if I'm not mistaken, then Macs use a forward slash. So I need to type cd desktop / example to get to exactly the same place. There we go. The backslash wouldn't work. A difference between the Windows operating system and the Mac operating system. So now I am in this folder. Let's just put this down here so we can see things happening. When we were in Windows, we did copy con and then sent it to a.txt. And there's a similar command in the Mac to do the same thing. It's called cat. So if I just do cat and then say I want to redirect my information that I type at the console to a file called a.txt and press enter, it's waiting for me to type something. But you notice at the moment it's come up with a.txt, it's created the file. There's no bytes in it, and it's a plain text file, which is really what I want you to understand about plain text. Just letters, no formatting information whatsoever, which is what you require for an editor when you're programming. So if I now just type A and press enter, it should have written in there 1 byte, but it won't do that until I tell it to stop. And telling it to stop is by using Control Z, just as you did in Windows. It's now telling me that it's suspended. That stands for shell, Z shell. We often use shells. And that's the job done. It hasn't updated in here yet, but it will. If I were to see what I wrote, if I double click on it, it opens up in Mac's version of Notepad, and it just tells me I wrote A, and notice it's updated now to 2 bytes. But when we were in Windows, it was only 1 byte. On Mac, we've got a 2 byte storage here, because I also pressed the enter key and had to do that. If I want to look at this file from the shell, from the console, I just need to type again cat and then give the file name a.txt, and what it will do is it will show me what the contents are on the screen and then return me to the prompt. So that is the similar way to Windows, and that's the old way of writing programs. That's how it was always done. It's quite difficult to actually do that. I'm going to show you now what Mac users, or some Mac users, tend to prefer. We prefer Notepad because it's quite easy. They tend to prefer text editors, which are really difficult to handle. So I'm going to show you how to start a text editor. We start off with the word sudo. That means I am the administrator of the computer. SU stands for super user. So I need to type that to say I want to actually make a program work. And then I need to run the program. Now, there are several different editors. We've used Notepad on Windows, and on a Mac, they're called things like Nano and Vi, that's VI. So I'm actually asking for the name of a program here, sudo nano, and then I need to give the file name that I want to edit, which is a.txt. If I just typed in anything now, it would create that file. Because I've typed this, because I've got this file, it's going to open it rather than create one. So when I press enter, we go into the administrative password. So to be able to change files on a Mac, you have to give passwords, which you don't on Windows. It's much more secure. So I just type in my password and press enter, and then it will start the editor. And it is a horrible editor. I don't know why they prefer these. You can't use the mouse to move around. It just doesn't do anything. I've got A there. I'm going to sort of add a letter to it. I'm going to put B. So I've now got BA in my file. And there is no save available for me from a menu. I'm sort of in a console. There is no save at all. The only way I can do it is by giving these commands. I need to do two. First of all, I need to write my information to the file, and then I need to exit the program. So this means the little caret, the arrow up symbol, means press Control. So I'm going to write Control and O, and then it's going to say, do you want to write it to a.txt? I've got a chance now to write it to a different file name. But I don't want to. I just want to write it to a.txt. When I press enter, this should change to 3 bytes. So let's see that happen. There we go, 3 bytes. But I'm still in the editor, and it's telling me what I've done, wrote one line. And now I want to get out of my editor. I'm going to press Control and X, and then that will return me back to my command line. So I don't need you to know all of that. I want you to appreciate that and understand the difficulty of the past in writing programs, so you can appreciate what has been done with modern editors to help you write programs.